Hey man, I'ma tell you something, man. Hey man, Kevin Durant, man, I'm trying to see you on that court ASAP, man. You say you gonna play me in the game, man. I ain't never seen you play a damn. Fuck Kevin Durant. Fuck Kevin Durant. Fuck Kevin Durant.
I agree with everything this song is saying right now.
I don't agree with how musically just awful it is.
The majority of this is pretty awful.
Little B.
Most of this doesn't apply about Kevin Durant whatsoever. This is the Home Field Advantage podcast on BLTDsports.com. I'm your host, Louis DiBiase, alongside Jordan Hanscom. We're back after a month hiatus. It's been quite
I don't
a
know
while.
why we just couldn't get it done.
It couldn't fit in the schedule. We've had radio duties, work, all the hooey and applesauce. But we are back here on the Home Field Advantage podcast. Find us on BLTDsports.com, iTunes, Podomatic.com, as well as on our YouTube feed, youtube.com/HomeFieldAdvantage Podcast. Follow me on Twitter at DBSportsTalk, Jordan at JHanskinVavel. We got a lot to kick into today as we're kind of late into the party about the NBA free agency talk, but I had my opinion on WBNY on Monday. I had a little bit to say on Kevin Durant as I called in. 4th of July, though, is kind of bad timing for Durant to make his decision. But as everyone knows by this point, and today Kevin Durant had his introductory press conference, Kevin Durant is going to the Golden State Warriors. And this bugs the living hell out of me. And that day, I own a Kevin Durant Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. I literally grabbed it and was ready to throw it into the garbage. I didn't do it. I'm gonna save it to burn it for another time. But we don't agree with this. But I see this as a weak cop out, and it's not. People like to compare it to the LeBron James going to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat were a 7th or 6th seed that bounced out of the first round or made it to the second round every year with just DWade after Shaq left when they won that title in 2006. He kept getting beat by Boston, both teams. DWade got bounced in the first round. I think LeBron got bounced in the conference finals to the Celtics. He didn't go join the Celtics. I do not like this at all. The Thunder were up 3-1 against Golden State. They had him on the ropes. They blow that 3-1 series lead, and he leaves. I don't like it at all. I know he's been with the Thunder for 9 years and that he paid his dues, but there's, to me, something way more valuable about winning a title in Oklahoma City than there is just riding the bus in a fourth wheel. And I know he's going to probably be the best, if not the second best behind Steph Curry on the team, but it's just such a cop-out and an easy, quick, easy, painless ride to the title, because basically what he just did was eliminate Golden State's biggest rival by now basically handing them the West. I don't like it. I thought there had been way more value in Oklahoma City. Look what LeBron just did in Cleveland. The floor is yours. I hate it. Can't stand it. It makes Durant a villain, which he's not going to handle well, I don't think.
Well, my thought on this is that what does everyone in their lives do? Do you ever go for the hardest route?
It's not the same. It's not the same thing. This is
like you want to be a radio broadcaster. Would you go the way where it's the hardest to be the great radio analyst?
Am I the face of the station? Like, am I?
Okay, you're the face of the station in the smallest town in the middle of Iowa.
Okay, but the Thunder. He put the Thunder on the map. He's a superstar. Like, a superstar should want to take, that's his team.
You're either the 6 a.m. show at ESPN or you're prime time in Iowa.
Listen, say I'm on the second best radio station in Philadelphia, but I'm the top dog there. I would much rather try to duke it out and try to beat the other guys than go join them and have the afternoon show from 1 to 4.
See,
right before the afternoon, right before the drive home. Yeah, I want the bigger spotlight and I want the responsibility.
But what it's more like though is you're the main guy at the second rated station, and then you go to be the main guy at the better one.
But he was one win away.
He was.
he felt. You could just tell he felt the pressure about winning rings. And yeah, I guess you can't blame him for chasing rings when that's basically what you're judged on now. But when you leave, what he just did to a franchise is going to kill them. Absolutely kill them.
It's not his responsibility to make them good or bad.
It's not his full responsibility, but a lot of it has to do with him. And when he leaves now, he sets a domino effect because Russell Westbrook is not going to stay there. He is a free agent in the summer of 2017. Thunder, knowing what Sam Presti has done in the past, he traded James Harden before his contract was up. He just traded Serge Ibaka before he hit the open market, got Victor Oladipo. I don't think Westbrook makes it past the trade deadline this year. And then how are you supposed to get free agents?
They won't.
To come
they
to
can't.
Oklahoma? But it's just like
it's a reset.
The Thunder did everything right. They drafted their stars, they developed them the right way, and they grew them. And no matter what, in the end, it doesn't matter because the players are always going to hit the open market, and it's almost impossible to convince someone to stay in Oklahoma City.
In the end, they play in Oklahoma.
The small markets
That's what they have to deal with.
Screwed in the NBA, and money wasn't even a problem. The NBA salary cap went over through the roof because of the $24 billion contract that ESPN and TNT gave the NBA and all the TV networks. It skyrocketed the cap. And it's giving all these teams the ability, and this is a fun stat for you real quick. Contracts of DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, Andre Drummond, and Mike Conley, 4 players, combined for $547.4 million guaranteed. That is combined for 11 starting NFL quarterbacks, including their total guaranteed salary, including Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady, and Big Ben Roethlisberger. There was nothing else they could do, and that Golden State becomes they're the next Miami Heat. They are going to be hated around the entire
better.
league.
They're better than them.
Do you think it's going to work?
Yes.
I don't
It'll
know.
work. It might not work 73 wins because that's just crazy to ask a team to do that again.
That's the thing too, is they don't need Kevin Durant to take that next step. Really, the best he can do is upgrade them by a win because they were 1 win away. They were up 3-1 in the finals. They were a win away from winning it again.
But if you're the Warriors, why not?
No, I know,
right? The guy wants to play for you, so you might as well just take him in.
I don't
you make your biggest challenger worse.
Well, no, you eliminate them entirely. Now there's
Maybe.
nobody.
Maybe.
Unless you're giving Oladipo way too much credit.
No, not even Oladipo. No. I'm just thinking Westbrook will just take every shot.
Well, I don't think Westbrook is going to be there. I don't. And
that's true. No.
Someone on Twitter proposed this is an interesting point. The NBA desperately needs an NFL franchise tag to avoid Durant LeBron fiascos. I agree 100%.
No,
I agree because they can't control.
The players should have the right to do whatever they want.
I don't think so. I don't.
If they sign a contract, they have to play out their contract. But after that, they should be able to go.
I don't.
I hate the franchise tag.
You shouldn't be able to leave franchises screwed like this. I don't like it at all. I hate it.
The franchise did not. Did they give Kevin Durant everything he needed?
Yes.
To win.
He had young big men that were surrounding him, becoming some of the best in the league. And you can make I don't know, the whole Russell Westbrook thing you can say was really good for Kevin Durant. You can also say it was horrible because having another top 5 player in the league alongside you can never hurt. Westbrook was second in assists, but of course then there's there's the point where KD didn't have a lot of open shots. He still shot from 40% from 3, I believe, with a guy in his face half the time. Westbrook didn't really make Durant a better player, but he had a very deep roster on that team, and then making the trade to go out and get Victor Oladipo for Serge Ibaka was a steal because then they got Sabonis, also Ersan Ilyasova in that deal. I felt like they were surrounding him to take that last step to get back to the finals, and I don't know. I'm thinking more for the small market. I'm thinking more for the Thunder than I am for Kevin Durant because when you look at his point, I mean, yeah, he's living in a much better place. It's way more stuff to do there. It's a great situation basketball-wise. He likes the way they play. They're selfless. He's going to get a lot of open looks and he's going to create space for Steph and Clay. So do I think it's going to benefit Golden State? Hell yeah. It'd be ridiculous if it didn't. I don't think there's a way that this could fail, but I just don't like it because I was really excited for that growing rivalry between the Thunder and Golden State, And I think that this even thins out the NBA even more. You know, there's always a parity issue in the league, but this makes it even worse. That, you know, the formations of super teams, it's going to kill any parity there is. And the one reason why I love the NFL so much is because you have no idea who is going to be, you know, who's going to be there in the big dance. You don't know. I think that's what's great about it, and that's sometimes why I like hockey. You know, so a lot of people like to make the argument it's greatness that people like and they don't like the underdogs, but I personally do, and I would have loved to see Durant bring a title to Oklahoma City, which has only one pro team. So
here's a question, though.
All right.
So you talk about how, like, their management did everything right?
Except for trade away James Harden, I would say.
Okay,
because
very
they were
good.
scared about the luxury tax.
I was just about to talk about that. I was just about to talk about the James Harden trade. This is what they got for James Harden: Jeremy Lamb, Kevin Martin. Steven Adams is the good. He's a good thing. Steven Adams is the good thing.
That's a good one.
And Mitch McGary.
Yeah, it's nothing
for James Harden.
No, I know it wasn't more about. They had to get rid. They were They could have paid Harden the money, but they were horrified of the luxury tax that was coming the next year, and it actually turned out that it was actually gonna benefit them. There's so many things that could have made Durant stay. If they win that title in 2012 against Miami, if they take him out there, you know, if they find a way to keep James Harden,
or if they traded James Harden for something of more value.
Right, exactly. If Kevin Durant doesn't break his foot 2 years ago when they missed the playoffs, if Patrick Beverley doesn't cheap shot Westbrook after a timeout and he's lost in the first round of the playoffs, we could be sitting here saying the Thunder have 1 or 2 titles. Everyone thought. Well, I like to compare this to the Magic, and I saw this 30 for 30 a few days ago. It's kind of like Penny Hardaway and Shaq and those Orlando Magic of the late 90s. This is a dynasty that never was, and it could have easily been because of how stacked they looked early on in their up-and-coming years. And now it's
so much more similar to Shaq than it is to LeBron.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because he left a good team to go to another good team.
Right. And I don't think...
And Jerry West was one of the main figures in bringing both to...
I don't think ego had much... I don't think a lot of people are saying it became Westbrook's team, and that's why... I don't think that had much of anything to do with it. I think that's just the way Durant played, where, I don't think there was much more... There's much different. Even now, he's probably going to take less shots than he did before. So I don't think it's that...
I think it is a basketball thing. I do think Westbrook played a little bit of a role because one thing is I think Westbrook they talked. I think Westbrook may have said I might leave.
Yeah, definitely that with Westbrook having 1 year left, I think that also has a huge part to do with it. So Westbrook had an impact because Durant either didn't want to play with him anymore, and he likes Golden State's style of basketball more, which who wouldn't because you're going to get open threes all the time. But yeah, there's also the point where he might have known Westbrook's LA bound in a year. You know, Westbrook went to UCLA. Everyone says he's always wanted to be a Laker and that's bound to happen. And that could be a realistic destination for him. So maybe he already knew that. I don't know. It's tough. I don't like it, but so that brings up another good point too is because now Durant is gone, it's very unlikely, as much as I would love Westbrook to be like, you know what, this is my team now, I'm going to try to take them out. It seems like that's his type of mentality, but it's probably not going to be written in the cards for OKC to re-sign them, which I think they already know. Where now, there's some possible destinations for Westbrook. Obviously, LA is the prime one, but it seems like now for Westbrook, he's going to be gone in at least a year for OKC. I'm curious to see where he ends up. Maybe the Lakers. Do you think
he should go somewhere where fashion is a big deal? Because that's his main thing. He loves crazy clothes. LA, New York, Miami for Westbrook.
I think, too, those are going to be the teams in free agency. He's definitely going to hit the open market next year because the cap's going down, but he can still make just as much money. I think that you're going to see a team, though, that's going to trade for him this year that's desperate to make the playoffs. I think a team that needs point guard help desperately, like Brooklyn, even though that most of their picks belong to Boston now, Boston can make a trade for him. A lot of people are saying the Sixers, who haven't had a starting point guard, a decent one, and probably since Allen Iverson.
They traded him.
Yeah,
Michael
Carter Williams. They're saying that they could be in play. I think eventually, though, I think Westbrook's going to be a Laker. I really do. I think that's where he's going to end up. I would love for the Thunder to find a way to trade him over to the Lakers and try to recoup some younger talent. And maybe there's no way you could get Ingram from them or Julius Randle or maybe D'Angelo Russell. I think that would be a legitimate option. But doesn't make any sense for the Lakers to do that when they can just make a play for him in the offseason next season.
And they know they'll be the favorites.
Yeah, they're not going to have to give up assets for him. So I think that no matter what, they're going to be the guy anyway. Colin Cowherd, which me and you watch all the time on Fox Sports 1, he brought a great point. I think basically all of this has to do with LeBron James. Because if LeBron doesn't beat the Thunder in 2012, if LeBron doesn't beat them last year, it's basically just like the Celtics whole thing where DWade and LeBron teamed up. They can't beat LeBron when he has a healthy squad like Cleveland did this year. Because 2 years ago, obviously, Golden State beat him. But all of this has to do with LeBron James. And I feel like now, if LeBron beats Golden State next year, assuming Golden State gets to the finals, I think this supplants him as the best player of all time because Jordan couldn't beat the super teams, whereas LeBron now would have done it twice.
Oh, it definitely makes LeBron. It's just unreal. It's like you're thinking through it in your head that Kevin Durant is sitting there looking at all this confetti, this Cleveland colored confetti that LeBron beat them after they rolled through the West. Probably they're probably gonna easily roll through the West.
The only team
maybe San Antonio gives them a chance. Yeah, gives them a fight.
They're too slow and old, and
I know
they got older and slower by signing Pau.
The only way San Antonio wins is if they play their pace, and Golden State's not gonna play their pace. Golden State's never going to let them play. Every missed shot, they're going to be coming back and shooting a 3 in transition, and it's probably going to be good because you're going to have Kevin Durant, Draymond, Clay, and Steph.
Don't forget Zaza Pachulia.
I unlike a lot of people, I think that's a downgrade by far.
Over Bogut?
Yeah, Bogut's a lot better than Zaza Pachulia.
I've never watched Zaza Pachulia. I don't even know how to say his name correctly.
Played it on the Hawks.
Don't forget, too, Golden State added David West. They're making a play for, Ray Allen might come out of free agency. They might end up landing Allen. Like, their roster's still pretty deep. The only guys I believe they lost were Harrison Barnes, Festus Ezeli, and Barbosa.
They could use a backup center.
They need another big man.
And I think Ray Allen could replace Barbosa.
They need
a scorer.
They still have Iguodala on the bench. They got Igu and Livingston. Yeah, they do need a pure scorer still on the bench for sure. But they're going to roll through the West, and I think that LeBron is going to roll through the East.
Oh, yeah.
It just sets up for I really, and this is going to segue into our next guy we're going to talk about, but I was really clamoring for DWade to team up with LeBron in Cleveland to try to take this team out. Because, man, if LeBron can do it, like you thought I was rooting for the Cavs last year, this year is going to be twice that. Because Durant is public enemy number 1 for me right now.
See, it's funny. I think now that LeBron gave it to Cleveland, I want Kevin Durant to win his.
No, I don't. It's not his anymore. It doesn't.
It's his.
It doesn't even count. Like
it does.
Now his legacy, by the way, and I think you actually agreed with this. So Durant,
his legacy is hurt. No,
it's tarnished. Like I don't.
Or it's not tarnished. It's less.
If Kevin Durant wins 5 rings with Golden State, it to me equals 1 or 2 rings from LeBron or Michael Jordan or guys like that. It doesn't. It's not the same. It isn't.
It's not the same. I mean, Jordan's team was good. LeBron's team last year was good.
Very good.
LeBron's Heat team was good.
He didn't have the best, arguably the best shooter of all time, a top 10 shooter of all time, and one of the best two-way players.
What if the Warriors drafted Durant, and then this team came to be? Would it be different?
Yeah, it would. It would absolutely be different because he grew with this team. He didn't leave another team in the dust that now is going to have to rebuild for over a decade.
People leave places.
It does, but why does LeBron everyone hated on him? But then why does Kevin Durant get a pass? It doesn't make much.
It's not about for me. It was not about what LeBron did. It was how he did it. It was about making this big spectacle and making Cleveland have to sit through that. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, Kevin Durant has no ties to Oklahoma. LeBron, that was his home. Cleveland.
Durant was there for 9 years. That to me is enough time.
He was
that
there
was
9 years.
It was his team.
I think he was there probably a few more years than he should have been.
I think you're a low-key Seattle supporter, so you're okay with him abandoning.
Well,
Oklahoma.
I don't
Seattle
understand
people are
how a
very much
team
happy.
could leave Seattle for Oklahoma.
I actually suggested this, and now that Durant is gone, it might be a smart move to move them out of there. Because as a tactic to...
What's worse, them not even having the
if I
team?
was Sam Presti, I would suggest moving out of Oklahoma now so they could lure people in and let's go back to Seattle because now that you don't have Durant and you're not going to have Westbrook...
See, that's
you're
mean.
nobody.
That's mean. They don't even get their team anymore.
There should be, and where I like small market teams and I love those stories in other leagues, they don't belong in the NBA, and I don't think there should be cities like Oklahoma now. As much as I wanted them to have stars, now it's almost impossible. There shouldn't be a team in Oklahoma.
Indiana gets free agents.
Do they? They made a trade for Jeff Teague. When was the last time they lured in a big free agent? They drafted Paul George. Before that, they were really bad. Before Reggie Miller, I mean,
they got free agents.
They've drafted most of their guys.
Did they trade for David West when they got David West?
Yes. But even David West wasn't.
So well, why can't you just be Indiana?
What has Indiana done? Indiana doesn't have a title.
They have good teams.
They don't have a title. Okay, whoop-de-doo. They lose. They're the one. They get to lose to LeBron in the second round of the conference final.
That's on you to beat LeBron.
You can't.
They got to play well.
It doesn't.
But then it's sorry. Like you don't win then. You don't win then. LeBron wins then.
You can beat him by luring in guys, and you can't do that if you're in one of these markets like Memphis. I'm sorry, like they shouldn't. I don't know why they
re-signed Mike Conley. We got him back.
That's an in-house guy, and by the way, he's now the highest-paid player in the NBA.
The point is that this happens in every sport.
No, it doesn't. This kind of thing where all-stars...
Rick Nash wanted out of Columbus to go to the Rangers.
How many super teams has there been forming in other sports?
Well, other sports are different because basketball, there's only 12 guys. It's easier to form a super team. You only need 3 guys.
But you just said this happens all the time.
I'm saying that...
Greats,
well, what I meant is not this exact thing, but... Good players say, I want to leave so-and-so to go to this place. Because this place has lights and buildings.
You wouldn't have a
I
problem.
don't know, whatever New York has.
You wouldn't have a problem if Jack Eichel, let's say, is against Boston, and we're up 3-1 in the conference
I'll be
finals,
heartbroken.
and we blow it, and then he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go join Boston. Like, how is there no problem with that?
I'll be heartbroken. I'm a Sabres fan.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, if anyone did that, I just think, like, people shouldn't...
I would understand it. I would be upset.
It's a cop-out. It's the definition of a cop-out. It's weak. It is so weak.
Well, to go back to Boston, it's his hometown. I would understand.
Okay, it's an example. Okay, fine. If if quarterback A left after losing the Super Bowl to join the other team and they win, like it's dumb.
So like Cam joining the Broncos.
Exactly. Cam's like, damn it, they have a good defense. I can easily ride through the regular
a little bit
season
less likely.
and get to the finals. I can help them or maybe win a game. Screw it. I'll just go join Denver. I mean, it's like
I think
no,
basketball, it's totally different.
Sports is different. It's not like life. Like, okay, yeah, obviously, if I'm working at a job and I can have it easier in a better location, I'm going to do it. But sports it's different. You can't treat it the same. I hate when I've been listening to the radio guys all week compare. It's like they're adults that they choose where you want to work. Like it's not the same.
I don't understand why you can't. I don't understand why it's different.
It's different.
Like I'm on their side, and I'm trying to wonder. I'm trying to pick your brain a little bit and try to like understand where that's coming from. I think it's the small market. Like you're a small market guy.
I'm just.
And
Buffalo
is where you've been.
I'm just not a small market guy. I'm a loyalty guy, and I think when you're a superstar, if you're a role player and you want to go chase rings, fine. I don't care that David West is going to Golden State. But when you are the face of a franchise and when you have such an impact on a team that when you leave, they're a bottom league team. Yeah, I have a huge problem with that. When you're dragging your lazy ass, dragging over to a team that just won 73 games. Huge problem with that. They won the title the year before. It's a cop out.
What if he's tired of playing with Westbrook? What if he's tired of what if he thinks that? What if he's actually sick of playing with Westbrook?
It's been 9 years, man. Like, why is it now you're growing tired of it? Like, you signed a 4-year
because it's been 9 years, man. He's been doing this for almost a decade. And he's been getting close for almost a decade, and he wants to get over the hump.
It wasn't Russell Westbrook's fault. Like, honestly, that series was
probably
Durant.
his fault.
Durant blew Game 5.
What if he knows deep down in his heart that he is not a champion?
Cool. Then I gave him way too much credit. Then I keep saying that to myself. I guess I gave Durant too much credit. I thought he was the other guys. He was tweeting like I think it was 2012. He tweeted about. He's like I think, and I'm not quoting it directly, but he was like, "Man, all these guys joining the Heat and Lakers. Let's try to beat them instead." And the hypocrite 4 years later does it an even worse move. And I gave him too much credit. And yeah, I guess he doesn't want to be the star. He wants to sit behind Steph and Clay, and he wants to collect his rings. And it's the easy way out. And I don't know what I would do in his situation. I don't know the pressure of carrying a franchise.
See, I know what I would do. I would have either. Well, first, I would have been like a process. I would have said, "Hey, if I don't like what Westbrook's doing, I gotta say something. I can't just be all like Kevin Durant. I feel is too quiet or too passive, or he's gotta say things like, Westbrook, stop running down the clock."
Yeah.
And give me the ball.
And I appreciate you taking the other side of the story because I have emotions tied in this. I've kind of grown up with this Thunder team, so
You're a fan.
I'm okay.
You're a fan.
I
You were
like
a
that we're
fan.
having both perspectives, but I think it's actually good sometimes to have emotion in it because I think that's sometimes a good perspective. So a lot because you hear I've been hearing all these people over the radio all week being like, "Oh, the fans are too emotional with us," but I feel like that brings a different point, and I think that I don't know where I'm going with this, but Durant going to Golden State does not sit well with me. The analyst side, I can make sense of it, but even with that, it still bugs me. So I don't know. I can't believe he left. I can't. The reports earlier in the week was he had a 90% chance of re-signing.
If he
I would
went
at least
to
want him to give it one more go, sign a one-year deal.
Is it just because I'm trying to figure out what's the biggest problem you have? Is it because he left to the team that beat him? Is it because he went to a big city?
It's everything.
Is it because if he went to Milwaukee or some other or Boston, where they're not a super team?
I just think it was the whole situation. Okay, probably I hate it more that he left the franchise out to dry. It's probably because
leaving Oklahoma City.
Because if he left Miami, it's different because they can rebound. But yeah, he left a team that with such a huge fan base that is now going to suffer for a decade and a half. That is what doesn't sit well with me the most. But it's also the fact that he is a top 3 player in this league, and he felt the need to go join Golden State. And I don't think that was necessary. And I think when you're a star like that, I feel like stars should be separated out in the league.
His decision is extremely clear. It is, I want to win. And I want to win now. And
that's good, but that's going to come with loose ends, and there's going to be people that are. It's not going to weigh the same as it would.
I don't think he cares about whether this championship means more than this one.
Right, but that's what his legacy is. So it doesn't matter.
I agree with the radio guys that are saying 10 years from now, it's just going to be like Kevin Durant had 2 championships, 3 championships.
I don't think it will be because
I don't think people are all going
to forget this. People won't forget it.
You won't.
Forget this.
Casual fans will.
No
Casual fans will.
About this is one of the. I think this is going to be one of the things no one's going to forget. LeBron went to Miami and joined the Big Three. I don't. Okay, yeah.
But do people say that championship is worth less?
I think his 2 titles are worth less. I think that 1 title was worth 4 titles in Miami. I think that 1 championship that LeBron just won will be worth every single ring that Kevin Durant wins, unless he wins 15. I think.
Why? LeBron's team has 3 stars on it.
No, don't call Kevin Love a star. First off,
he was when Minnesota.
LeBron averaged a triple-double in every single game. Led the
Chris
entire
Bosh.
series in every category. It was all LeBron James. Yeah, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, LeBron had an amazing series, and LeBron's the best player in the league.
You're saying though,
sure.
He also had 3 stars, but he didn't ride on the backs of those guys. Kevin Love was non-existent in the finals.
But what if Kevin Durant steals the show in the finals and he's just everywhere and dominates?
Then, yeah, he can impress that way. But
so there is a chance that his will be worth the same as LeBron.
No, not the same, not even close. But because of also what LeBron did,
what it means to the city, or
snapping a 54-year streak, also beating a team that had the most wins in history in the regular season. He'll never be in that situation.
Oakland's pretty title hungry. They haven't won much.
They won 2 years ago. I'm not pitying them.
Now Cleveland's won a year ago, so I'm tired of Cleveland being like, oh, they don't win anything.
The Raiders won the Super Bowl in 2003. They were a dynasty.
Cleveland's been in 3 finals in the past decade.
How many dynasties has Cleveland had? Cleveland's never had a dynasty.
Oh, the Raiders
were
have
the most dominant, if not
in like the 70s.
Yeah, but that counts. But besides the Steelers, they were the most dominant team in the NFL from the 70s and the 80s. And when they were in LA, they were pretty good.
What's another team that was good 50 years ago?
It's not, Oakland and Cleveland aren't the same, and they already won a title. KD's not coming.
See, I'm glad that it's in Oakland rather than in like the Knicks.
Well, they're also not going to be in Oakland in a year. They're moving to San Francisco. So
yeah.
the Niners have let's see, 6 Super Bowls.
That's not as blue collar.
5 Super Bowls. Let's see, the Giants have won 3 World Series in the past 10 years. The San Jose Sharks were just in the Stanley Cup.
See, I don't know how I feel about the Warriors because I always remember the Warriors.
Fun to watch.
I always remember the Warriors as this scrappy team led by Baron Davis, and because they drafted so well, they earned the right to get Kevin Durant. Why can't Orlando do this? They can. Sure, they can. I think Oklahoma City could do it again.
No, I can't. No.
Sure, if they draft a Steph, a Clay, they have to be perfect. They can't mess up the James Harden deal. I think that Golden State is not like the Lakers. They're not storied.
I think I watched every game that year, and I don't remember how James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant all got shots.
James Harden didn't start.
Harden didn't start. He was a 6th man of the year. But those 3 together, I don't know how the hell that worked. But yeah, and I guess Golden State was very close to not becoming what they are now. They could have, if Milwaukee chose, they wanted Steph instead of Monte Ellis in that trade, they probably would have ended up doing it. The Warriors almost traded Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. So, yeah, they were irrelevant, and I don't have a problem with them going for Kevin Durant. I would do the same thing if I was Golden State.
But what I'm saying is I think there's still hope. Because Golden State proves that there is hope. Because that team came out of nowhere.
If you win a title.
If you win a title,
you have to win a title, or else this can happen again, where KD gets impatient and he walks.
And there's so many people you can blame for not winning that title. There's so many different factors for Oklahoma City.
It was injuries.
It was injuries that the few years. James Harden being awful in the finals.
KD also was pretty bad in that finals too.
No, LeBron was a monster.
KD was in foul trouble after the first quarter.
That finals, LeBron was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Yeah, but if they had a 3-point shooter this year, they would have beat Golden State because they couldn't hit a 3 to save. Durant was their most efficient 3-point shooter, but if Kevin Durant doesn't shy away in Game 5, though, they're in the finals too. So. They were really close. I wanted to see him finish it out. People like to see. You like to see that happy ending where they finish it out. And
I think what this also
like I said earlier, OKC is going to be very much like the late '90s Orlando Magic. What could have been.
What this also teaches is the life's not fair. It's not sorry. Oklahoma. I understand the pain. I'm a Buffalo sports fan. I get it, but. Sometimes you just have to understand that this stuff happens and you have to roll with it. You know that you're a small market. You know that this could happen. They knew that this could happen. They had to know, right?
I mean, I would.
Yes, you're surprised, but you had to know.
Especially in the NBA, yeah, you have to know that super teams are forming all the time now, and people are copping out to win easy titles. Yeah, for sure. That's what he did, and I'm sticking by it. So. It is. So, I want. What do you mean? What do you call it then? What? You're not saying he took the easy way out here?
He took the easier route.
Okay, that's another word for cop out.
Not really. Cop out's the negative term for it.
It's lazy,
and I don't think it's negative.
It's also lazy. I think it is 100% negative. Why? You don't have a problem with this at all?
I don't have an issue with it.
Why? Did you have a problem with LeBron going to Miami?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Because it was how he did it.
Right.
Kevin Durant waited out his contract. Kevin Durant just said, "I want to go play for Golden State." He didn't do an hour-long TV show saying that he was going to take his talent somewhere.
He didn't have to.
No, he didn't. But like that's the only thing I had against LeBron, and I rooted against Miami just because like it was kind of fun. But like I don't have an issue with it because Oakland it's Golden State. It's not.
You can't approach this like they're the 2007 Golden State Warriors. That's not what they are anymore.
But it's a franchise that they've had one championship in 50 years. Their other title was back in the 50s.
I'm pretty sure it was in the 70s, actually.
I mean, okay, so it's either 40 years or 60 years ago.
Still, whatever. I want to move on from Kevin Durant. And Oklahoma should too.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Jim Rome.
Go ahead, Oklahoma.
Crackling my paper. Moving on. DWade is a Chicago Bull. This was headlines that pretty much, while Kevin Durant and all that hoopla was going on, not many people realized that there was a fall under with Miami and Dwayne Wade. Basically, what happened, Dwayne Wade wanted $1 million over 2 years. Miami was willing to give him $40. You could just tell that Pat Riley didn't really want D-Wade anymore, but he kind of was, as a service to him, they were almost pretending like they were in play for him. And it was time for them both to move on. I'm surprised that he didn't end up going to Cleveland. I was hoping financially it was nearly impossible for them to do it, but D-Wade's now going to Chicago. Pat Riley gets what he wants. He clears a lot of cap space. He doesn't have to pay D-Wade. They made the right move, unlike the Lakers did with Kobe Bryant, when they had to stick around with him and kept paying him, and it really cost them years of development for younger players. Chicago Bulls now. What do you think about D-Wade in Chicago? Are they?
I don't like this team at all.
They can't. I think they might be the worst.
Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade, and Jimmy Butler.
Rondo was the most efficient three-point shooter of any of them last season, which that speaks volumes. They won't be taking threes.
They're just, I don't know what that is.
They were very close to blowing it up. Almost before the draft, you thought they were going to trade. When they traded Derrick Rose to New York, there were reports that Butler could be traded to Minnesota, to Boston, and now all of a sudden they form a little big three, an older big three. But I think now they're in the East. They're a 4, 5, or 6 seed. Like, I think they're fine now, and they stay relevant instead of blowing it up. And
which is bad. They've become the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, but in the NBA though, what's better? You know, like how
tanking.
Even though for Chicago though, I will say I might have considered the rebuild because it's easier to. It's not Oklahoma City. You can lure free agents into Chicago. It's one of the best storied franchises in NBA history. So I can.
Seattle was terrible. They got Kevin Durant.
No.
Like I think in the NBA, that's the only way to get good young players is to be at the bottom of the draft because the NBA draft is never deep.
No.
Like you're never it's rare to find a Draymond Green late in the draft.
Yeah. We're in such a win now mode though in all sports that teams are going to do stuff like this because it's how you sell seats and it's just hard to justify like a 5-year rebuild in any sport. Now,
people were saying they lost Derrick Rose, their native Chicago kid, so they got the other one.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think they'll be okay without Rose. I don't think how Rondo and Wade's going to work. They're both guys that really they like to control the tempo. D-Wade played point guard for the majority of the start of his career. And then there was that whole ego clash last year between D. Rose and Butler. Butler wanted to be his team. There were locker room problems all the time. Butler even called out his coach last year. Is he going to have a problem? Is D-Wade going to take a backseat to Butler and say this is your team? Or is there going to be 3 huge egos?
Rondo said it's Jimmy's team. Rondo had a press conference today, and he said it was Jimmy's team.
I don't know if Dwayne Wade will say the exact same thing. And I think Rondo says that
Dwayne Wade gave the heat to LeBron, though. So I think Dwayne Wade could say it's Jimmy's team.
Hopefully he does, but
he seems like that type of guy to me.
Man, Rondo just seems like a head case.
I don't trust Rondo
neither
at all.
do I. That's why just because he said that, it's like.
And their starting center is what? Robin Lopez.
Robin Lopez, and Taj Gibson's their power forward. That is.
They're not only old. They're not only bad at threes. They're slow.
Right.
Cleveland's gonna obliterate them.
They did. They got Jeremy Grant in that trade with the Knicks, which I think is a nice young piece. But yeah, They're just another team that's going to maybe win a series in the playoffs if they get lucky and play.
They might, they play the Hornets.
It's going to be like the Heat last year. They might squeak out 7-game series in the first round, then they'll lose
And
to either Toronto or Cleveland.
if they get that third seed, maybe they can beat Toronto because Toronto, for some reason, loved playing 7-game series.
Yeah, I think in the East it's kind of going to be the same thing. I really like Al Horford going to Boston, and I think that they're going to compete much better. I think they'll be the 3rd seed, but I still think it's going to be Toronto versus Cleveland again in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think it's Boston, Cleveland.
You think it's Boston? Cleveland. I really like what Boston did.
I'm not
the Horford move. I think that pick and pop with Isaiah Thomas and Horford is going to be lethal, but I don't know if
from what I saw from
yet.
Toronto, they got 2 from Cleveland. It was that was their biggest. That was probably the best thing they did. Because the rest of the playoffs,
they weren't very strong.
They could have easily lost to Indiana.
Yep.
Remember Paul George railing them back in Game 7?
The Miami series was probably the sloppiest playoff series I've ever watched. They got through that, but they re-signed DeMar DeRozan. I don't know.
They're the same.
They have the experience. I think Boston really, you have Isaiah Thomas and Horford, but after that, you lost Evan Turner to Portland. You have Avery Bradley, who's more of a defensive asset than offensive. Same with Marcus Smart. So I think Boston's going to take another nice step. They also have Crowder, but I don't know. I like Toronto ahead of them, but they're all battling for second.
I think that's a toss up.
They're all fighting for second. It doesn't matter. Where do you think the Knicks will end up in the East?
They'll be a playoff team.
7th, 8th seed, maybe.
Yeah, they play Cleveland, lose.
Let's see.
I think 7. I would say 7 or 6 for the Knicks.
Cleveland, Toronto, Boston.
Cleveland, Toronto, Boston. I like that order.
Okay, they're the top 3. Indiana at 4.
Indiana, yeah.
I would even almost consider them ahead of Boston or Toronto. I forgot about them with Teague now. That's pretty good. Pacers 4. Let's say the Bulls 5. We'll slot them in there. Charlotte 6.
I think the
Pistons.
Knicks,
Pistons.
I think Pistons are stay at 8.
What about the Wizards? I feel like eventually with John Wall.
I think they're getting worse.
They gave Bradley Beal a huge contract, so
they're getting worse. And how does John Wall feel about Bradley Beal making triple he's making?
Wall will get his time, but yeah, I don't think that'll go over well considering it's Wall's team. One other team, by the way, Jordan, you liked what they did in NBA free agency, and it cannot be Golden State.
Indiana.
Pacers.
And it wasn't really even free agency. It was their draft, their move with getting Jeff Teague and getting rid of George Hill. George Hill he doesn't play point guard.
No.
He's not a point guard. But they kept having him bring the ball up.
Yeah.
I didn't know what George Hill's thing, he was athletic he was fast, wasn't he? I remember old Pacers games.
He was very strong to go into the hole. He couldn't. He didn't have a strong jump shot. He was pretty weak with rebounds. Assists he didn't get a whole lot of. He's an average player.
I just remembered him, and that was the guy they got for. If you remember, do you know who they traded? Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Nice
Talking
Pacers.
About bad trades.
Nice Larry Bird.
Oh man.
That just thinking about that trade, but. Overall, I think Jeff Teague is going to be a big boost for them at the point. He's a distributor. He's actually pretty good at scoring too. So I think that their defense is going to be a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
But I think that they made a good move to get up there because they're not going to be a 7 seed anymore.
No.
They're going to be looking for maybe Eastern Conference Finals.
All right. So Jordan said the Pacers had a strong offseason. The team that I'm gonna go for a. Team that isn't talked about a whole lot. It's the Utah Jazz. They actually ended up getting George Hill. They really what they needed last year, and they almost made the playoffs. They didn't end up getting in. Houston squeaked in instead. But Utah had they have a strong young core. Gordon Hayward, Derek Favors. They did end up trading Trey Burke to the Wizards in the offseason. I think it was about a week ago. But they needed that veteran bench that they didn't really have last year to make that final push. And when you add Joe Johnson, George Hill, and Boris Diaw, I think that I think they're an absolute playoff team this year, and I think that they could honestly be as high as a 5th seed this year because the Thunder are going to take a step back. I don't know how good the Clippers are going to be. The Spurs, the Thunder are basically, unless Westbrook's still there, they're below. So the Jazz are going to have a pretty good chance to do some damage in the West, and I feel like they had a pretty strong
Who is the
play.
best player on the Utah Jazz?
Gordon Hayward. He had a
And
pretty
they're
strong
going to be
year.
a 5 seed?
Yeah, because I think when you look at it, I think you have San Antonio and Golden State for sure. The Clippers.
Clippers are better than Utah.
Maybe the Clippers at 3 probably, and then after that, like Memphis, they got Connolly. They're pretty slow. You got Oklahoma City. I don't think Westbrook's.
Portland's probably
there.
still better than them.
Okay,
So
Portland,
there's 4.
Okay, yeah. So at best, they could be a 5th seed, which is what I'm saying. I'm not
Right.
predicting they're going to be a
Okay.
5th seed. I'm saying they have the upside to be up there. But then you have a lot of the young teams: Utah, Minnesota. What's Dallas going to be with Dirk and Harrison Barnes? I don't think they're going to be all that strong. I mean, they very well, they could be as
Dallas
high
is
as
probably
a 5th
about
seed.
the same.
Yeah, I think that the West isn't as deep as a lot of people are saying, and I think it's top heavy just like the East. I think that's what the NBA is, and Utah has a chance to do some damage. I think so. I like what they did in the offseason, and I thought I'd give some love to a team that isn't talked about a whole lot. I think that. Yeah, I think we should move on to some football now because the NBA has been all over the.
The
headlines.
NBA's been making you mad too.
Yeah, it's they pulled me in with the whole Cleveland thing. Me and you were down there for the title parade, and then they kind of pushed me away with this Durant thing. Not really though, because
You're gonna watch it more now because you hate him.
it's gonna love the the ratings gonna be sky.
Now you're gonna watch like Sacramento King Golden State games.
I'm gonna buy League Pass because of this.
You're buying
I'll-
League Pass.
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna,
of this.
I was planning on doing it anyway to watch my.
Yeah,
T-Wolves.
come on, you're gonna watch the Wolves.
I was gonna
yeah,
watch the T-Wolves.
yeah.
I gotta see
because
how
of
the
this.
boys do. But this is a nice perk.
They're always gonna be on ESPN anyway.
Is the NBA gonna overtake the NFL eventually as the powerhouse?
No.
You don't think so?
No,
I don't
not until football becomes played with pillows. And
Yeah, that's a good point. The safety part.
people
of it
love
could
people
end up
love when people crush each other. And it's been happening for 2,000 years. Romans had gladiators, and now we have the NFL.
I think the NBA though. I mean, they're up there. They're definitely ahead of baseball now. Baseball is such a past.
But the problem with the NBA is that their regular season.
Yeah, it's worthless.
Yeah,
That's the problem. Yeah, they need more teams.
that's the downside of the super teams. Playoffs is going to be riveting because
the
it's going
playoffs
to
are gonna be
can they
awesome.
dominate?
Yeah.
And the NBA playoffs are always pretty.
The
good.
playoffs are fun even with the other series. I loved watching. I
Hornets
enjoyed
Heat.
Charlotte Miami was a really good series last year.
I enjoyed Pacers Raptors,
Yeah.
even though it was kind of sloppy and kind of gross.
Yeah,
'cause
Oklahoma
it's the
City versus San
Raptors.
Antonio in the second round was great. And first round for the West is pretty weak. OKC versus Dallas, Golden State, Houston.
Why does Dallas?
Yeah.
I think Dallas is my least likable. Like I can't. Every time it's Dallas is on TV,
They're the most unwatchable
I have
for you?
I have no interest in watching the Dallas Mavericks play.
Who's my most unwatchable team in the NBA?
Memphis is also another one where I
they
just can't
popped
watch
in my
them.
head.
Well, unless Marcus All plays because he is really good. No one really knows that Marcus All is really, really good.
I don't think I've watched a Phoenix Suns game since 2007, so
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's true.
You can watch some Phoenix Suns
Oh,
on your league
Oh,
pass.
the team I can't stand, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, they're gross.
So old, they gave up their future for Kevin Garnett.
Do you remember how gross they
Paul
were with
Pierce.
Darren Williams and Joe Johnson?
Yeah, they
how
were bad. They were a playoff
everyone
team.
thought they were like really awesome. They beat the
Didn't
Raptors.
they give up like 3 first-round picks for Kevin Garnett? Like the Celtics still have picks from that Paul Pierce Garnett trade, where they ended
Yeah.
up getting those two.
That was one of the worst
They're
trades.
still- they gave up
ever.
their future, like which would have been now for those guys to try to make another push to get over the hump and try to compete against Miami, which did not work at all. But yeah, people thought Brooklyn was gonna be good. They're trash, absolute trash. No, I will not be watching them in League Pass. It's mostly gonna be Golden State and Minnesota and Cleveland.
Watch some Detroit and Orlando. Those are my teams.
Listen, if Orlando still had Victor Oladipo, I would for sure.
Why? They have.
I'll be watching OKC
Surge.
now. Oladipo's my guy. I'm not a
And
real big
Vucevic.
fan on Ibaka. Vucevic is nice, but
Why don't you like Surge?
I just think his game has just become.
It's not the type of big man
grown
game you would
farther
like.
and farther away from the paint as the years have
Yeah,
gone
it's not
on.
the type of big man game you would like. He's still a good blocker.
Let me tell you, even his defensive numbers have gone down. Like he was the best, one of the, if not the best defensive big men from like 2012 up until 2014, and it's dropped off. He's been a declining player for the past 3 years, and he's become a 3-point shooting power forward. And I guess in this day and age, that's good. But
do you think it's because here's my thought on that. I think teams kind of figured him out, and they said
figured what out?
They said
he
like
benefits och Durant and Westbrook. He doesn't make his own shots.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he, like, okay, Serge Ibaka was a really good blocker. Let's just always put a stretch 4 on him. Keep him out of the paint.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I just found a funny, going back to the Bulls real quick, Rondo and DWade last year combined for 69 threes the entire season. Steph in his first 14 games of the season had 71. He had 2 more threes in 14 games than Rondo and Wade had combined for the entire year. So
the Bulls are really imagining that this is still the 90s.
Yeah, you might just want to hope Butler becomes the star of the team, because D-Wade and Rondo, I don't think there's much hope for them. But yeah, we got to get into some football talk here on the Home Field Advantage podcast. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Obviously, training camp is coming up soon. We're gearing up for fantasy football, of course. We got our draft coming up soon. That's what everyone's looking forward to right now. Is there's not a lot in the whole lot in the headlines, but Leveon Bell, Steelers running back, dropped another pretty sick mixtape on Twitter, and I enjoy him as a fan of Lev Bell. In his mixtape, he was talking about some of his demands when his contract expires in Pittsburgh, and he talked about how he wants up to $15 million a year in the NFL. Despite Le'Veon Bell being one of the best running backs in the league, I just don't think there's a chance running backs get that kind of contract anymore.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, the average lifespan of a running back is what, 3 years in the NFL?
Yeah. I would say so.
Why would you pay $15 million in a running back?
You can make the argument like the elite guys like that should get paid, but I don't think they should.
No,
like, Le'Veon Bell,
$15 million for a running back, compared to quarterbacks getting what? What's the quarterback main salary at now? Like 22, 21?
Sam Bradford's making $21 million in Philadelphia, so
that's
a little bit higher.
That's just, I hate to say it, but like it's the market, but the running back market, it will never be that high.
It'll never be again. It used to. I mean, back in the day, Le'Veon Bell might get that much.
Yeah, when teams were giving him the ball 40 times a game.
Right. You're not seeing people trade, like the Saints traded their entire draft for Ricky Williams. Like you're not seeing that happen anymore.
That was also a bad decision.
Very bad. But like it's just Le'Veon Bell is a second-round pick. David Johnson was a fourth-round pick. I mean, yeah, the elite guys you're getting early, and Le'Veon Bell is one of the elite guys, but he doesn't do enough for the team to pay him that much money where you're losing other assets on defense and on the offensive line.
This is the other difference with football and basketball is that basketball, one guy can be the difference between like 20 wins. But in football,
LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron is the most influential athlete to any sport ever. Yeah.
Yep.
But in football, besides the quarterback, your safety could have a good game. There's so many positions. There's so many different things.
You should only be losing players because you had to pay a quarterback. That's it. Not a running back.
And there are so many different ways to win a football game. You could handle it. Steelers could win a game and give Le'Veon Bell the ball 5 times.
Oh yeah, there's teams that like the Patriots don't run the football.
Neither do the Colts.
Like they don't ever run the football. Like the Patriots, I think they ran it probably maybe a total of like 10 times in the entire playoffs last year. They don't run like you hit it exactly. Like you don't have to run to succeed.
And other teams, you don't have to pass. You don't have to.
No, and
you can run it 70% of the time.
Power running style offenses are coming back into the league, but that doesn't mean you still can't go get that. Like they're still easy to find to get those guys to fill in.
Sure.
So just because they're being valued again doesn't mean you can't find them in other areas that are cheaper. Like Le'Veon Bell, like some people are saying, well, is he going to leave the Steelers then? You can go out in the market. You're not going to find $15 million a year. He's going to remain in Pittsburgh. But
I mean, maybe because free agency is weird and everyone does stupid things.
You might see Miami throw
good example. The Dolphins.
You might see Miami throw $15 million at him a year, but
he's
that's
a defensive tackle. We're going to drop $100 million.
Yeah, sorry, like Zeke Elliott when your contract's up and Todd Gurley, like
It's the position you play.
And the egos are up there, and they want that money, and Leveon Bell put it in a mixtape for crying out loud, but it's not there. That market isn't there anymore, and you're not going to get paid like that.
The other thing with the run game is often your line needs to be good. If Leveon Bell wants to leave a good team or leave a better line for like a worse line, his numbers are going to slip. And then he's not going to be worth that $15 million that he covets.
I mean, he's one of the few that would still dominate behind a weak offensive line. There's a few of those.
He would be good.
It would
still take a dip.
There's a few of the running backs in the league that are the exception, and I think he's one of them. But everyone would take a dip.
Yeah,
if you don't have
you're getting hit behind the line.
Every single person is going to benefit off of having Dallas's offensive line. But when you look at last year, the top 5 rushing, it was Todd Gurley, Adrian Peterson. You had those 2 top guys up there. But then I don't know the entire list, but Darren McFadden and Chris Ivory were up there. And Darren McFadden barely scratched 1,000 yards. He just got over.
He was on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and you don't.
He's not even that good.
He's not getting paid $15 million a year. You don't have to pay guys like that.
No,
so
you don't.
It's sad for running backs, but it's not in the cards anymore. And I'm trying to pull up the exact numbers. It was Peterson 1, Doug Martin 2, Latavius Murray 3. Nope, this is attempts. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Yards, Peterson 1, Doug Martin 2, 3, Todd Gurley, 4, Darren McFadden, 5, Chris Ivory. 6 and 7, Latavius Murray and Devontae Freeman. Devontae Freeman was, what, a 7th-round pick?
Devontae Freeman was a 3rd-round pick.
No. Was he? I don't know.
He was earlier than 7th. He might have been 4th.
I know Tevin Coleman. Yeah, you might be right. That 4th round. Tevin Coleman was a 3rd-round pick for Atlanta. I'm not sure. But, again, you see the point. Latavius Murray was not a high pick. So when you see these guys in the top 10, D'Angelo Williams was in there, and so was Frank Gore.
4th round.
4th round, okay. Frank Gore is 32.
Via Wikipedia.
He was top 10. Jonathan Stewart was top 10. You don't have to pay guys anymore that much money.
And also, going back on that conversation, we're talking about in Buffalo, how are we going to get Tyrod re-signed?
Cut Le'Veon McCoy.
Where's the first thing you go to? Running back? Wow, we have a lot of money in running back.
I'm targeting 25.
Yeah,
cut him loose.
If I had to choose between Stephon Gilmore and my running back, I choose the running back. I get rid of the running back.
Oh yeah,
get rid of the running back. That's what I meant.
Premier lockdown top 7. No, okay, he's a top 10 corner.
Top 10
hands down. You can argue that he could be top 5. I don't think he is, but
and McCoy's a top 10 running back. But I feel like you can get a running back anywhere.
The value of a top 10 corner is in this day and age is so much better than a top 10
And in the draft, no one drafts running backs high.
No, you need lockdown corners.
You get the decent ones in the 3rd round.
You can't win without strong corners. You can win without a strong running back. As long as you have a strong quarterback, you really.
I also think running back's that position where you just cycle them through. I'd rather have a well-rested running back. I'd rather have a well-rested Jonathan Williams out there than a beaten up, tired McCoy.
Yeah, I think the Bills target McCoy. But yeah, I think that's interesting though. Maybe LeSean McCoy, the Bills could target and maybe move on from him because they have Jonathan Williams. Obviously,
Carlos Williams.
They have Carlos Williams, and then they have Mike Gillislee, who, he's a smaller back, but he did a lot of good things last year as well for Buffalo. So, Le'Veon Bell, sorry man, but you're not getting $15 million. I love you, but it's not in the cards for you. Cam Newton, the only other related football thing I could find. The top 100 finally ended. Thank the Lord, so we can stop hearing about that. As I got an update on my phone. It was so absurd. It said breaking news, and I see the NFL. I'm like, ooh, Cam Newton ranked number 1. I'm like, that is not news. That's not breaking news.
That's called advertising.
Is Cam Newton the best? Does he deserve number 1?
He was the best player last year. That's the question, right? Top 100 of 2000.
They don't really have rules.
I don't know what it is.
I hope so because that's why Luck was 92.
I hate the idea of the show.
I hope so because that's why Luck was 92. Because if it's not, then there's a problem.
I hate everything about
the show. The show is so flawed.
I don't understand it. Why? How can you say that Cam Newton is better than J.J. Watt? They play completely different things. What I would rather have the show be is just each week they do a top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 running backs, top 10 wide receivers. I'd watch that because that's interesting to me. Because you're saying, oh, wow, you're saying Beckham's better than this guy. Or you're saying Cam Newton is better than Luck. Or Luck's better than Rodgers. Or something weird like that. And it'd be like, wow, that's really interesting. Why do you think that?
Right.
But, I mean, it's like, oh, it's just them just saying, essentially, oh my gosh, look how great Cam Newton was. And then there's like a player comes in, Cam Newton was really tough to tackle. Cam Newton has an arm. Cam Newton can run.
Yeah. And
It's just like...
I get you. And it's the list is bad, but Cam Newton was the best player last season, hands down. He had 45 touchdowns, 10 rushing, 35 passing. He finally broke out, and this is a good point too for like younger quarterbacks. Like what was this? Luck was drafted in 2011. This was his 5th season. Like he was, and I think an average record before this. Like he was, he was obviously one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league, but he wasn't one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He was an average passer, and he took a huge step this year, and that's why you still got to give quarterbacks time. Some are going to dominate from the start, like Andrew Luck, but Cam Newton finally, like, he hit that elite, almost elite it is elite status in his 5th year. So you got to give guys time. I found a cool stat about Cam. His passing yardage, he only had 1,467 passing yards came after the catch, which is bottom in the league. He did not get a lot of help from his receivers, so you saw him make players all around him better. Ted Ginn, Devin Funches were all guys that really aren't that impactful playmakers on the outsides. Cam Newton turned into relevant players, and that's the Tom Brady effect. You see when you make guys like that productive because of your skill, that's the signs of an elite player. So I think Cam definitely deserved one, and Tom Brady's right there too. They just cycle through weapons every single year, and it doesn't matter who's there. 12's just going to get him to the top. So I think Cam deserved one, and I hate that J.J. Watt's 3. Because I don't like J.J. Watt.
But he's really good, though.
And watching the video today of him, the number 3, like when they talked about him, like it was infuriating. Like just
he's a hard worker.
Showing him chug down a power shake in like 2 seconds. He's just like plugging it down real quick in one sitting. It's like, all right, dude, we get you're sick. He threw a football up into the 300 level, pinpoints. Like, just do everything. You're the best. You play quarterback, for crying out loud.
He probably could.
No, he couldn't. I hate him. And I hate when he uses the jugs
muscles.
Man, get out of here. That's, I think,
let it be known, Lou does not like Kevin Durant. Lou does not like J.J. Watt.
I loved Kevin Durant. Now, not so much.
And Lou loves Oklahoma.
By the way, we speaking of small markets, we forgot to bring up something that we talked about before the show, and it was Cowherd's take on small markets.
Ah.
Yeah.
Fun.
And this is a bone I have to pick
Time
up.
to get dirty here.
I've been trying to
get mad.
I've been trying to call in on the herd.
You have actually? Did you actually dial the number?
No.
And okay.
I don't want to be embarrassed by the Cowherd on live television because he always finds a way, despite he might be wrong. There's some people that can do this, where they can spin it to make you just seem like a complete idiot, and Cowherd's one of them. Like and this is going back to I hate to.
Did he diss it? I remember hearing what he
makes small markets just feel irrelevant. Like he does it to Buffalo all the time. He basically says there's like 3 places in the United States that exist. Whereas to me, I don't think you should devalue small markets because I feel like those southern college teams and the Buffaloes and the Kansas Cities and Oklahomas, like that is what's so great about sports is having those diehard fan bases where their team is like the center of the entire community. I don't know why you would be trashing over that, walking all over that, whereas he keeps defending the frickin' Miami Heat and the Los Angeles markets where all the goddamn fans are at the beach. Like, where they have to do things to sell tickets because they don't have the dedication for fans that small markets do. And I don't like that he walks all over it like that. I think that small markets, they need, if anything, they should be praised, not
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Small markets have that community feel.
Yeah.
And I guess I know what his take was. It was all about Kevin Durant, and it was all about would you want to move to the bigger city? Colin Cowherd's main thing is he loves mobility. He loves people moving from a place and going to another place.
It's just because he did it like a year ago.
Right.
So he's just trying to base everything off his own background.
Right. I mean, I think there is value with new experiences and trying different things.
Oh yeah, the life part I don't blame at all. Like the non-basketball side of it.
And like moving to a new place is scary. But what I'm saying is, I'm starting to rant or like going off on a tangent. But small markets have a huge value in sports. You hit it. You nailed it with that. It's a sense of community. These people rally behind these teams. I see it every day. But he does have a point where that they are irrelevant. You said it yourself when we were talking about the Bills. The Bills are irrelevant.
Not all, but he considers like all small market teams irrelevant. That's not the
right.
case.
Green Bay is not. Green Bay will never be irrelevant because they're a historic team. Yes. But I think that it's just I think every team is different. Every style is different. The Chiefs aren't irrelevant. No one thinks that the Chiefs is irrelevant because they win. You win. You're not you have value. You are interesting.
You're relevant based on wins and losses, not based on your market.
Right. I think that's absolutely true. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why they won't be if they stop winning.
Yeah. There's downfalls to having a small market, but you being a small market does not make you irrelevant. It's the outcome of games.
Right.
So, but he just makes it seem like it's just no one wants to be there. It's like, he actually people in Minnesota want to live in Minnesota. It's like, dude, not everything's sunshine and the beach. Like, we get that you moved from Connecticut to LA and you're living the dream right now, but it's like, I don't know. It's a pet peeve. I can't take him.
Yeah, the quote of people in Minnesota don't even want to live in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's just wrong. There's a reason they live in Minnesota is because they like Minnesota.
Some people like snow, man. I love snow.
I like 4 seasons too.
I like having different seasons.
But
I want it to be
New York City has 4 seasons. Chicago has 4 seasons.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does. But that doesn't. Big cities aren't always like. Not everyone wants to live in a big city.
No. Do you want to live in a big city?
I'd like to work in a big city. I don't want to live in a big city.
Right. You want to live in the suburbs outside of the big city.
I want to live. Yeah, exactly.
If I live in Chicago, I want to live in the north side suburbs, or the west. I don't even know. Actually, I don't even know. I know certain areas of Chicago are bad. I don't know which ones are.
Right.
But
I just don't think like a city. I like that sense of community, and I like that like the suburbs. Like I just feel like living in like a big city like that. I just feel like eventually it seems touristy to me. I guess because maybe I don't live in one, but it doesn't have that home feeling.
It has touristy because when you go, you're a tourist.
Yeah, that's probably right. But there's our rant about Colin Cowherd and small markets. We were talking about this. It's kind of a random thing, but I was watching 30 for 30s, and when I do that, I'm inspired because sometimes I see cool jerseys. I'm like, ooh, look at those. And I purchased a John Stockton old Utah Jazz jersey and Vince Carter Raptors. And you brought the point. You're like, well, why did you purchase a Karl Malone jersey for the Utah Jazz? I'm like,
and then I asked, why have you never bought a power forward jersey?
Well, and my response is, I'm a small white guy. And this brought up the discussions like, would you, depending on your body size, purchase a certain, like, where is the line drawn? Like, I personally would not, I'm an Eagles fan, I would not purchase a Fletcher Cox jersey.
No matter how good he is.
No, he's already one of the best defensive players in the league. I will never have a Fletcher Cox jersey because I'm a small white dude, and it wouldn't work. I'm not going to get a Jason Peters jersey. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I'm always the guy that's going to have a receiver jersey.
Or is it because you hate linemen?
No, I like pass rushers are one of the most valuable. They are besides quarterbacks,
also
left
tackle
in the NFL, and so are tackles. I understand that. It's just like in basketball, I'm always going to probably have the point guard. Like I'm not going to have a Dwight Howard jersey or a Al Horford.
So, but my thought was after that, going off of that is like I'm a big guy.
Right.
I have an Aaron Williams jersey. I have a safeties jersey. Is it okay for me to wear the safeties jersey?
I think when you're a bigger guy wearing a smaller one's jersey, I think it's better than. I don't know,
why?
Is it the numbers? I wonder if it's just the numbers.
I mean, in basketball, the numbers don't really mean anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I just feel like me wearing a number 91 jersey, it just makes me look bigger, almost.
What are you trying to say? What's wrong with that?
No, I'm saying like, my size, I don't look like I'm not gonna wear a Darius.
I don't look like Aaron Williams.
No, you don't. I think it's easier.
I think it might just be you, man.
And maybe it's just a me thing. I just don't want to wear like.
Because I'm trying to think. Because I've seen people. I mean, I'd love to get an offensive lineman's jersey if we had an offensive lineman that was good enough to get the jersey.
But like, okay, like a 400-pound African-American dude wearing a Wes Welker jersey. I don't know.
You don't think that's okay?
No, I don't know. I just don't see it.
See, I'm fine with that.
Maybe
I don't have any problem with that.
Apparently, this is just a me thing then.
I think it might be.
Well, it's food for thought. Here comes the narrative of the day. Actually, that's for hot takes, but I don't have a soundboard yet, so. Narrative of the day.
Whoops.
Jordan Hanskin's gonna start us off. We haven't done a narrative of the day in a month. I think
I
don't remember what my last one is. I'll have a nice little jingle for us for
our
next show.
So my narrative of the day.
Give us your narrative of the day.
Narrative of the day is I'll just say it with this. I can't stand this. When people vaguely say and blindly say this guy has good basketball IQ, hockey IQ, football IQ. Like that one, it's just a cop out way to say I don't know much about this player. In my opinion, it literally means that they pass well or have good vision. Right. Just say that he has good vision. If the quarterback has a good football IQ, he can see the field well and he can read the play well. Just say what you want to say and don't like combine it into this weird little. This guy's got hockey IQ. He makes no look passes. He knows where his teammates are. Say he knows where his teammates are. Don't say that he has this made up brain that you wanted to inject into him.
All right, I like that one. Mine was I can only control what I can control. It's the stupid thing Kevin Durant said today, and it's something
he's right though.
Say when a media member asks them about what this journalist reporter asked or what this guy said, it's like, man, we don't listen to that outside noise. I can only control what's in this locker room, what I control. It's like, nah, you've listened to all that stuff and you have an opinion, but you're just you like to be boring because that's what press conferences.
Or they're not allowed to say it because someone's always on their back because
that's all PR nonsense. But
PR nonsense.
That was your narrative of the day. God, the soundboard is pretty terrible, but
love it.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. So we threw around some narratives. Now it's time for our hot take of the day.
Whoa!
Much better.
Was that like a nuclear bomb?
There's a lightning bolt symbol on the soundbite.
I gotta like get as exciting as terrifying or as intense as a nuclear bomb.
Isn't a nuclear bomb like silent? I don't think it's no. Like
I always imagine a nuclear bomb to be like.
I just imagine those black and white videos of Hiroshima where the mushroom cloud goes over it.
Who was filming that?
Good point. Yeah, I agree. How did the plane get away in time? Like, I feel like you drop it, you gotta go. Like,
they're pretty high up.
Yeah, but I feel like there's can a nuke reach like super large distances? Like,
yeah.
Science, man, I'll tell you. Jordan, what's your hot take of the day? What's really rubbing you the wrong way these days, and what's pissing you off?
Well, that's not what it is. Well, what's pissing me off is people saying that the NBA is going to be worse.
Because I feel like hot takes mostly it's angering. It's something that's bugging
what pisses me off is that people are saying that the NBA is going to be worse with the Super Warriors. I like the Super Warriors.
Super Warriors? Okay.
It's like Power Rangers.
Yeah. Seems like a Power Rangers.
Yeah. I don't think it is. I think the NBA, this is a blessing for the NBA, that they have a team that will be polarizing. The Warriors weren't polarizing last year, besides like Draymond doing all his Draymond things in the playoffs, being like aggressive towards Steven Adams and LeBron's groins.
Yeah.
But like if that's the most polarizing your team is, they're not polarizing. I feel like most people were okay with the Warriors. I was okay with the Warriors. I'm still okay with the Warriors. But a lot of people will hate them now. A lot of people will root against them
I will
passionately. Lou will root against them passionately.
Very much.
But that's the point. More people are going to watch them to either root for them or hate them. I didn't get into the NBA until LeBron joined Miami. Because I had a team to root against.
Right.
And it was really fun. It's really fun to root against a team. Like, a team that you just don't like.
Yeah, it's great for the league, and I don't think that's...
Well, that's what my hot take is that like people are saying that it's not good for the league.
Which is being said, for sure. I disagree with them. I don't think they're bad for the league. I just wish other teams would be able to compete with them. Like, I feel like there's not enough... I don't know if there's not enough stars.
No one gave Dallas a chance to beat Miami.
Depth. Yeah, but that's a once in every decade thing.
Is that one of the greatest upsets in sports history?
For sure. For sure, yeah. That's not going to happen again. Like, you're not going to see a Utah or a Charlotte. Charlotte's going to find a way somehow to win the title off of the backs of
Nick Batum,
Kemba Walker, and Nick Batum. Like, come on, like. I just think that there's not enough people to compete against them because they are going to be polarizing. You're going to be wanting to watch them every time they're on TV.
Is that just the sport that upsets don't happen? Because I feel like that's just the NBA. That's how the NBA has always been.
Basketball is a very skilled, like hockey. There could be a bounce off a stick, about like a bad bounce, bad penalty here and there. Like, there's things in hockey and there's things in football that don't just come purely based off skill. Like, that's why you see like teams like you said before the show, the Capitals haven't been able to get to the cup. Like, basketball, a lot of it, if you are the most talented team, it's a lot easier to win in basketball than it is in many other sports.
You know what I think it is? The sport. There's so much scoring. So your talent will show because you'll score so consistently. And you can easily, like, end a run can get you, in 3 minutes, you could be from down 2 to up 12.
Right.
So I think it's just basketball as a whole.
That was Jordan's hot take of the day.
We lost track. We got off track there.
All right. My hot take. This generation's soft. It's soft. It's lazy.
I have a bone to pick with your hot take.
It's free spirited. It's freewheeling. It's whatever's feeling good right now. And this has everything to do with Kevin Durant. I just think people just nowadays like to take the easy way out. They just like
you hear a new song. It's your favorite. Pretty soon you'll be changing the station. Sam Hunt. I just quoted Sam Hunt because that's what you're talking about, right? Talking about where it's what's ever good now, or let's just move on. You're just mad because Kevin Durant left Oklahoma.
He's just going off instinct, but this is like a platform for I feel like our generation. Like it's all instinctual and it's whatever good at the time. So,
but what's wrong with that?
Not necessarily there's anything wrong with it. I just think there's a lot of things being.
I mean, I think you might be right. I don't know if soft is the right word.
I think in this case,
rash,
because
rash is a good word.
I feel like people. Where am I going with this? In the sense of Kevin Durant, like it was a soft move where. Oh, man, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying this has been your. I'll like go off of what you're saying.
Yeah.
That you're saying that Kevin Durant chose the easy way. That's what you've been saying.
I think some key values are being pushed to the side, like
loyalty,
and like basically mostly loyalty here. And I just think it's hard. I'm not going to say hard work necessarily because Durant's going to be under more pressure now than he was before. But I don't know, just getting the job done, finishing in one spot. I don't know. I think it's the trend now to go to the flashy, and this is in sports and other places, like, you know, going to California. Like, that's the place to go right now. I just feel like, I don't know, this generation's more like that than I guess. Like,
this is a Rust Belt kid.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm only 19, so I'm not like, no, back in the day in the 60s.
Back in the good old days.
But I don't know. I guess loyalty's a big thing for me in sports and in general in life, but like, you didn't see Jordan leaving Chicago, and I know like these teams were stacked. I know Magic had Kareem when he left LA, but like Durant, that wasn't the reason Durant left. Like, he had guys there.
See, but Jordan and Magic were drafted or were Chicago and LA.
Okay, yeah, but
Like, imagine if Durant was drafted
Boston's
to.
not a glamorous city. Larry Bird didn't leave.
Yeah, but Boston's title town.
It wasn't at the time, really. Yeah, it was. Bill Russell pretty much brought like 13 rings there, but I don't know. You didn't see guys leaving a whole lot, and I think that nowadays I just think it's easier to make moves like this than it was back then. I feel like you wouldn't have seen this happen
Because free agency wasn't really a thing back then.
Not which is fine by me. I mean,
So players get drafted and
the
they
NBA
have
was
to
a lot
stay
better
there.
back then than it is now.
So players get drafted and they have to stay there.
I thought it was interesting, actually, when I was watching the 30-30, when Shaq said if he had to redo it, he would stay in Orlando. He actually said, like, quote for quote, like, he wishes now that there was a way that when a player is drafted by a team, he has to stay there for his entire career. They're, like, non-basketball-wise, I don't
I'd
like
feel
that,
so
'cause
bad for so many
I know,
athletes.
like, if you want to go live somewhere, I don't like that part. But the basketball part, I kind of agree with. But
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, you have loyalties to your teammates.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they have any loyalties to the city or the fans.
like there was a report by Adrian Wojnarowski of The Vertical. They did a podcast today on thevertical.com where they heard stories where like Russell Westbrook and his teammates had a huge problem with during the playoff series Kevin Durant being buddy with Draymond, and I think they even said he hung out with Draymond after a game or like I have like that. Oh my gosh, that would enrage me. Like I can't stand stuff like that. I think it's easier. Like players, there's no rivalries anymore. Like Michael Jordan did not want Isaiah Thomas joining the Dream Team. He hated him that
Going
much.
off of that, I have a funny story. I was watching a baseball game.
Okay.
So I've already lost Lou, but
Lou's going to the whiteboard to draw sketches while.
well, no, I was watching a baseball game,
Yeah.
and it was the Yankees, and I remember I was looking at the team, and I'm like, I just thought of remember when the Yankees and the Red Sox would have like fights every time they played.
I mean, I didn't watch baseball, but I remember
But you remember seeing it in SportsCenter and
yeah,
stuff.
Seeing them all the time.
I mean, that's when baseball was cool. When I was like 10 years old, and I would be like, "Oh my gosh, these guys are fighting." This A-Rod keeps like doing weird things and like slapping the ball away from people and stuff like that. And it's like you don't see that in sports anymore. Like even the Steelers-Ravens games, the biggest NFL always like works it up to be this like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a bloodbath out there, and that's Joe Flacco versus Ben Roethlisberger in a shootout.
You're seeing other teammates like help the opposing team up. You're seeing Andrew Luck every time he gets hit. Say, "Nice hit, buddy!" Like
you want
like
more
that
mean-spirited
stuff.
games.
I wish I grew up as.
But you hate Draymond.
Back in the day.
That's cheap shots.
That's different. He was playing buddy with Durant too. So.
But if like Patrick Beverly did a cheap shot, because when you get aggressive and like chippy, cheap shots happen.
Yeah, and I'm okay with the aggression part. You can be aggressive
and not be dirty, right?
You have to be dirty,
right? Yeah,
you
no,
absolutely do not.
And I'm not saying what Draymond with Patrick Beverly did was like, oh, that was good. Like, no, those things are terrible.
The thing was absurd.
Yeah,
I mean,
was it worse?
There was a time, 100%, not even close, because
Draymond's thing hurts you for a little bit.
Draymond
like it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, you keel over and you're okay.
But Patrick Beverly, he tore your ACL.
What we're talking about, but like Patrick Beverly removed Westbrook from a playoff series.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thunder won that series, but they lost in the second round to Memphis because they didn't have Russell Westbrook, and it was after a timeout. Beverly had to be that play to the whistle guy. Like, give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
I had rooting interest in there too, so you can say I'm a little biased, but it was a dirty play. I think that people are too buddy nowadays, and that also has to do with our generation. Lou sounds really.
You think that it's just because like he's friends with people on other teams? I agree. I don't think. What's he doing socializing with the enemy?
It's absurd.
Like, at that time,
ridiculous.
you put the friendship away, and at the end of the series, you're friends again.
Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas were really good friends off the court, and then during the finals, they were in each other's faces, pointing at each other, spitting in each other's face. Like, when it's on the court, it's a whole different animal. And I don't like that you can be buddy during the game and after. In the middle of a playoff series, that's going to get you to the NBA Finals. It's absurd.
That's the thing that hockey has
that's not
right.
what sports is.
That's the thing that hockey has right in the playoffs. They are
and I think
mortal enemies
I think
for that playoff
the
series,
team.
and then at the end, they shake hands. They have that line.
They're the only league now that does that.
Yeah.
And even in
I thought the finals this year was the closest thing.
Yeah, LeBron,
they were enemies.
LeBron had personal issues with Golden State. Like he did not like that
because they got him when he wanted to win it so bad for Cleveland, and they got him.
They were getting all that attention. As much as he says Steph was the MVP, he knows in his heart.
And then Clay calling him a baby.
Yeah, and then when LeBron
I thought that
left,
was awesome. I was listening. I remember sitting there and I was like, you would come to my house for the games and I would be like, I gotta watch the pressers.
Exactly. Like there's nothing good about we're all friends here. Like there's just an entertainment level too to have that WWE sense. Like they're all out to get each other. Like that's another part of sports that's great, and I think that there's not enough of that now.
But then you see it after the finals, and they did good with the and after the finals they respect each other, and at the end because you saw even Draymond goes up to LeBron and congratulates him and like does that like
despite
that good
everything,
despite everything because that's what it is. It's like I did something bad. Look, man, I'm sorry. Yeah. Congratulations, you earned it. Like that's what sports is, but in the game, it's a battle. Like it's a competitive. It's like a gladiator fight. It's a battle. It's a war.
And who knows? That could have been another plus for Golden State luring Durant was that they were buddy even during the season. So
you know what I think I think also Golden State. I don't think Golden State would have been interested in Durant nearly as much had they won.
Right.
Them losing made them think, we should maybe work the money. I think they would have just re-signed their guys and kept everything the same.
I would have.
Yeah. But them getting Durant, they're like, we should switch it up a little bit. And
I think it was perfect for them because they got in the finals, but they lost. Like if they lost in the Western Conference Finals, Durant's probably not leaving because he's in the finals. So Durant's deciding to stay. But then if Golden State won,
I have a fun would you rather that I just thought of.
All right. Would
you rather have LeBron win it for the Cavs last year, or Durant still be in Oklahoma City right now?
LeBron went for the Cavs. What that oh my gosh, that Believe Land new ending almost brought me to full on tears.
So no matter how mad you are with Durant,
it doesn't.
If LeBron wants more,
no way. We got to get out of here. This has been the BLTD Sports Home Field Advantage podcast. Louis DiBiase here with you alongside Jordan Hanskin. I'm on vacation this week, but we're going to be back next week. Maybe I'll get a Skype call going over the week. We'll get you back here. We're going to be more on a consistent basis once the NFL comes back. For Louis DiBiase, for Jordan Hanskin.
For Little B.
Yes, for Little B. That's Kevin Durant. This is the guy from Home Field Advantage Podcast at BLTsports.com. Peace out.
Bitch, I'm Lil B. Who life mixtape, you gon' know that it's me. Still on the court and I'm still on the court.